Hello everyone, how are you? I hope all of you are doing really good. So welcome to another session of strategic management, and let's continue with our discussion on strategic analysis of the internal environment. So we have in the last lecture we have done about the Mendelow's matrix, that what is that matrix that is related to the stakeholders, right? Who are the key stakeholders we need to identify, with whom we need the regular communication, and the stakeholders which are not that really important. So all that we have discussed. Now he says to understand or for the analysis of the internal environment, what are the various factors which can impact the internal environment, that is known as the strategic drivers, right? What are the various factors which are prevalent maybe in the external environment which can have an impact on the internal environment, that how you make a product, what are the what is the raw material that you are using in the making of the product, what are your strategies for the sales. So all this is what? All this is related to your internal environment. But there are factors which are existent in the external environment, but those factors impact the internal environment. Those are known as the strategic drivers, which we are going to study about, right? So an important aspect of internal analysis is assessing the current performance of the business, right? That how the business is currently performing. If the business is performing not so good, that means there are certain changes which are required to be done within the internal environment also. Maybe in the product design, maybe in the way the product is being manufactured, maybe technological upgradation is required, right? Maybe the sales staff is not that efficient, you need to change the sales staff. Maybe the marketing staff is not that efficient, you need to change that. So it is one of the most important things that you should assess, that how the business is currently performing on the various parameters, right? And in assessing the current performance, the strategic drivers consider what differentiates an organization from the competitors. That how will you assess that how your organization is currently performing? That is on the basis of these factors which are known as the strategic drivers. That will tell you that whether your business is performing better than the competitors or not. What different you are doing than your competitors, or your competitor is doing different than you, so that the competitor is staying ahead or you are staying ahead. This strategic drivers or the various factors which are prevalent are going to tell you about that, right? It involves the analysis of the key markets in which the organization operates, as well as its key customers, the product service it provides, the channels in which the product or services are delivered, and the organization's competitive advantage. So it is going to tell about a lot of things. One, what are the key markets you are operating, whether you are operating only online or whether you are operating online and offline, right? If you are operating only offline, your competitor is doing online and offline both, right? So that there the competitor might be having an edge, right? What are your key customers, right? What are the various products, and along with those products, or what are the services that you are providing or your competitor is providing. So these are the things which help in identifying that how the business is performing, and if there are any changes in the internal environment that is required or not, right? Some of these components are interlinked, such as the market and product or service, and the channel and the key customers in each channel. We will discuss each and everything in detail, right? So what are the channel, what are products, what are market, everything we are going to discuss in detail. So nothing to worry as of now. There can be varied ways to assess the current performance of a business, and it is highly subjective based on the management metrics and the ways of doing business. So there is no set criteria that how you are going to judge the performance of a business. It depends totally upon what type of business you are doing, what is your business model, how you are doing business, what are the various methods you have adopted in doing business, what is the management thinking about the particular business. So it is quite a subjective matter. It depends from business to business, it depends from management to management. There is no set criteria for it, right? It can either be profit driven, purpose driven, or any other matrix, right? So if the management is more concerned about the profits, then they will judge the performance of the business based on the profits. If the management is more concerned about the purpose for which they are doing the business, if whether that purpose is being fulfilled or not, then the performance will be based not on the profits but on the basis of the purpose, whether the purpose is getting fulfilled or not, right? So it can be now this can vary from business to business. right? Management seems to fit, but in general, the key strategic drivers in the organization include. So these are the 4 key drivers which are judged, right, on on the basis of these drivers, we assess the performance of an organization, that is industry and market, customers, product or services, and the channel. So these are the 4 key strategic drivers based on which we try to assess the current performance of the business, and according to the current performance of business, we try to understand whether certain changes in the internal environment are required or not. Right? So we are going to discuss these strategic drivers one by one. The first driver that we are going to discuss is industry and market. So we have already discussed about it. What is an industry? Industry is based on the product that you are manufacturing. If you are a shoe manufacturer, you are in the shoe industry. If you are a mobile manufacturer, you are into the mobile industry. We have already discussed about it, right? And what is a market? Market is a place where the buyers and sellers meet. It can be a physical place, it can be a virtual place. All this we have discussed in the last lecture. That is the things given here in a different language. That's it, right? So that is what he's saying. In terms of internal environment, it is very important for an organization to understand its relative position in the industry and in the market in which it operates. He says when you are analyzing the internal environment, right, when you are analyzing the product that you are manufacturing, the technology you are using, the raw material that you are using for the manufacturer, the organizational structure that you are having, it is important to understand that what is your position in the industry. Are you performing well? And what is your position or standing in the market also, whether the buyers or whether the customers are interested in your product or not. Accordingly, you will make the changes in the internal environment, right? There are many ways to do it, but require the analysis and understanding of the environment. The similar companies are grouped together into industries. Now, this is what we are saying. Similar companies are grouped together into industries. Basically, the industry grouping is based on the primary product that a company makes or sell. That is what we are saying, that if you are making a shoe, that is the primary product. So you are into the shoe industry. If you are making a mobile phone, you are into the mobile industry, right? If you are selling the cars, or if you are making cars, then you are into the automobile industry. So based on the primary product that you are manufacturing, your industry will be decided. And industry consists of what? A group of the similar companies who are making a similar product, who are selling a similar product. Yes, the pricing can be different, the features can be different, but ultimately the primary product is going to remain same. If you are making shoe, every company is going to provide a different sole, a different comfort, right? So the different price can be there. Nike shoe can be for 4,000, Skechers can be for 8,000. But ultimately, they belong to a single industry, right? For example, you can just look at the examples. Maruti, Mahindra, Tata Motors, TVS, Bajaj, all are selling the automotives as their primary product and thus categorized as automotive industry. Similarly, Zara, H&M, Marks & Spencer, Pantaloons, Westside, Uniqlo are all selling apparels and accessories for youth and thus categorized as apparels industry, right? Now, a market, this is about industry, right? So this was regarding the industry, that what is industry, although we have understood it in the last chapter also, but yes, a sort of revision. Now, from here, what we are going to discuss a little bit about market. So what is a market here? What is a market? A market is defined as the sum total of all the buyers and sellers in the area or region under consideration. The value, cost and the price of items traded are as per the forces of supply and demand in the market. So everything is going to get decided. What the price you can charge from the market is dependent upon the demand and supply in the market, right? So value, cost and price as per the forces of supply and demand in the market. So market may be a physical entity or it may be a virtual place. As we have already discussed about it, it may further be local or global, depending upon which all countries the business sells its products. right? Whether you are selling the products in the local market only, or you are selling the products along with the local market, you are selling in the international market also, then it will be a global market. Okay. Now, market refers to all the buyers and sellers of a particular product or a service, and so it would be incorrect to say that market is the same for all the business. Now, he says the market, when we talk about market, we say buyers and sellers. So that means the market is same for all the business? No. The market is different for the different business, for the different products, right? The market for mobile is different. The market for PC is different, that is computers is different. The market for the kids toys will be different. The market for shoe will be different, because the set of buyers and sellers is different for every business, right? Each business, now see here what he's saying. He says each business has its own set of customers, that is the market, and more so each product within a business has its own market. Right? Every business is having a separate market, and in case a particular business deals into multiple products, right? Like I am selling the mobile phone also, I am selling the apparels also. So I will have a different market for the mobile phone. I will have a different market for the apparels. My strategy will be different for the mobile phones. My strategy will be different for the apparels, right? My customer base is different for both the products. So that is what is saying. For example, a FMCG brand selling shampoos, dairy product, flours, washing powder, each product line is going to have what? Each product line will have a separate market to cater to, and therefore build the strategy specific to the market of the concern. You will prepare separate strategy for shampoo, for dairy product, for flours, and for washing powder. Every product is asking for a different strategy because of having a different market. Having a different market means having a different set of buyers and sellers, right? The demand for the buyers will be different for the different products. So basically we can say that every product itself is a separate market, right? That is what we can say, that every product in itself is a separate market, right? Now he says that we are saying that it is important to understand industry and market, but how do you analyze, right? If you want the understanding, or if you want to analyze the internal environment, if you want to make changes in the internal environment, it is important to analyze what is happening in the industry and the market. But how will you analyze it? That what is the industry doing? What are the markets doing? For that, there is a technique known as strategic group mapping. Industry and market analysis is extremely important to identify one's position as compared to the competitors, who can be of equal size and value, or bigger in size and value, or even smaller and the newer ones, right? So if you are into a shoe market, or if you are into the apparels market, there are number of people who will be working there, and it is not necessary that all the competitors will be at same level with you, right? Some of them will be operating at a higher level. They will have more machinery, they will have more resources, they will be manufacturing more number of units, they will be selling more units than you, right? And there will be other competitors who will be selling less than you. There will be competitors who will be selling at a parallel level than you, right? Some people will be selling at a higher price than your product, some will be selling at a lower price than your product, some will be selling at almost the same at a same level. Now a tool used for this is known as the strategic group mapping. Now try to understand what is there in the strategic group mapping. What is this tool known as? He says strategic group mapping. A very simple concept. It is not a difficult concept, but how do we group it? We need to understand it. He says, let's say this is a particular shoe industry, right? This is a particular industry. Let's say it is a shoe industry. Fine, sir. Now, what happens in the shoe industry? Let's say there is, let's take a few brands. Nike is there, right? Then Reebok is there. So I'm taking just these two brands first. So what Nike and Reebok are doing, the average price, the sale price of their shoe is, let's say, 4,000 rupees, right? They are providing almost a similar kind of a quality. They are charging, the price is almost similar. The resources they are using is almost similar. The market they are capturing is almost similar. That means they are fighting on the similar levels, on the similar parameters. right? Be it pricing, be it resources, be it comfort, be it any other thing, the type of a customer they are catering to. So they are fighting on similar parameters, right? Then there comes another brand, that is Skechers, right? I'll take a brand here now, Skechers. Now what is happening with the Skechers? Sir, the average shoe price of the Skechers, let's say, is 7,000 rupees. Right? Now what happens? Skechers is playing a different game than the Nike and Reebok, isn't it? The Skechers is playing a separate game. Its pricing is higher than that. The Skechers is providing more comfort than what Nike and Reebok is providing. Skechers is catering to a high income group, category of the customers. So it is playing a separate, different game, although they belong to the same industry, but they are fighting on similar parameters. Skechers is fighting on a different parameters. It's playing a different game. So this is one strategic group. This is one strategic group, right? This is Skechers is another strategic group. Let's call it the strategic group 2. Right? This is strategic group 1 and Skechers is going to be strategic group 2. This is how the strategic groups are made. Then you try to compare that which of the companies or which of the strategic groups is performing quite well depending upon the various parameters. You can take any two parameters, you draw this kind of a diagram where on the x-axis you will take one parameter and on the y-axis you take another parameter. For example, one of the parameter is the price being charged. Another parameter you can take is the market share, right? Market share. What is the market share, right? Then you take up the companies, for example, A, B and C, three companies, one group, D, E and F, another company, another group, right? G, H, I, right? So this GHI is charging higher prices and having a higher market share. That means the product quality is excellent, that people are ready to pay the higher price also. So these are what? This is a strategic group. This is a strategic group, right? And this is another strategic group. So this is how the grouping is being done for the various for the firms, right? It can be within the industry, outside the industry, but within the industry, this is how the strategic group mapping works. Now we will read it from here. It will be easy for you people to understand what exactly it is, right? A strategic group consists of all those rival firms. Now the rivalry will be within the industry itself, right? A shoe manufacturer will not have a rivalry with the garment manufacturer. This we have already understood in the last lecture also. Which have a similar competitive approaches and positions in the market. Competitive approaches means you are competing on the basis of price or quality. It is almost similar. The companies in the same strategic group can resemble one another in any of the several ways, right? What are those ways on which they can, that means the Nike and Reebok, they will be similar to each other on the various bases, on the basis of pricing, on the basis of quality, on the basis of the market they are capturing, right? So he says the companies in the same strategic group can resemble to one another in various ways. For example, the comparable product line rate, similar products they are providing, right? If the Nike is providing the sports brand and the formal brand, the Reebok is also providing the sports and a formal brand, right? Formal shoes. Sell the same price or quality range, emphasize the same distribution channel. Distribution channel means if the Nike is selling through the online also and offline also, Reebok is also doing online and offline. Reebok is also selling through on-site, Myntra, Amazon, Flipkart, the same channels Nike is also using, right? Use essentially the same product attributes to appeal to the similar type of the buyers. For example, in type of comfort or whatever, they're using the similar product attributes to woo the buyers. Depend upon the identical technological approaches, almost same technology they are using, and offer the buyers similar services and technical assistance, right? So similar things, this makes one strategic group. They compete with each other. There are competitors and they will be this Nike and Reebok. They will be similar to each other on the various aspects, right? So these are the aspects that we have discussed, right? Then he says an industry contains only one strategic group when all sellers pursue essentially the identical strategies. Now he says if Nike, Reebok, Skechers, other brands, everyone is going to follow a similar competitive strategy, then there will be only one strategy group, right? But if Nike is following following a different strategy, Reebok is following a different strategy, Skechers is following an absolute different strategy, then what will happen, sir? Then there will be multiple strategic groups. This is what he's saying. Only one strategic group when all sellers essentially they pursue identical strategies and have comparable market position. At the other extreme, there are as many strategic groups as there are competitors when each rival pursues a distinctively different competitive approach. He says if Nike, Reebok, Skechers, I tell you in the simple language that if Nike, Reebok, Skechers, they all follow a similar strategy, then there is a one strategic group. They all are part of one strategic group, right? But if they are following, everyone is following a different strategy, then Nike is one group, Reebok is one group, Skechers is one strategic group. So as many groups will be there and occupy substantially different competitive position in the marketplace, right? Now, what is the procedure for constructing a strategic group map? What is the procedure for constructing a strategic group map and deciding which firms belong to which strategic group is straightforward. He says identify the competitive characteristics that differentiate the firms, be it pricing, right? That on what basis, on what factors you will be able to differentiate the firm. Here we can say that we can differentiate between Nike, Reebok and the Skechers on the basis of the pricing. So this is what? This is a competitive characteristic on the basis of which we can differentiate between the firms, right? That differentiate the firms. In the industry, typical variables are price or quality range, geographical coverage, right? One of the firm is serving only southern part of India. Another firm is serving the whole of India. That is the geographical coverage. Degree of vertical integration. Vertical integration means I am making a shoe, right? I buy another company who is making the sole of the shoe, right? That is vertical integration. That how good is the vertical integration? Whether there is vertical integration, that raw material that is required, I am manufacturing the raw material, or I am buying a firm which is manufacturing my raw material. That is there. Product line breadth is there, that what different types of products you are providing. You are providing only formal shoes or you are providing the formal and running shoes, right? So what types of things you are providing. Use of distribution channels, whether if let's say the Nike, Reebok, they are providing only offline, whereas the Skechers is working online and offline. So what type of distribution channels they are using and the degree of the services offered. So on this basis, on price and quality, geographical coverage, vertical integration, product line breadth, use of distribution channel and the degree of the services offered, we can differentiate between the firms, right? Then he says, plot the firms on a two variable map using the pair of these differentiating characteristics. This is what I'm saying, that on a two variable map, one is here, one of the variable I have taken is price, another variable I have taken is market share. I can take any other, right? Pick up any two variables out of it and draw them on a map, right? Assign the firms that fall in about same category space to the same strategy group. For example, here ABC, this is one group, right? DEF, one group, GHI, one group. This is what is assigning the space, right? Draw circles around each strategic group, making the circles proportional to the size of the group's respective share of the total industry sales revenue. That now you have to circle it, but this circle will depend upon what? This circle will depend upon that what is the market share that company is holding, right? This circle depends upon what? This circle depends upon the market share that the company is holding, right? If the market share is small, now this group, this is the small market share. Now this might contain A, B, C, D. The four firms are there, right, which make one strategic group, but the market share is very small. It can be for any reason. It can be because of the high prices, right? Or it can be because of the low quality or any of the factors. So we need to see this. Clear? Now this is important. You have to draw the circles around each strategic group, making the circles proportional to, please mark it very clear. Circles should be proportional to the size of the group's respective share of total industry sales revenue. Now this is the example that they have taken. What is this example that they have taken, sir? Very good example. Let's see what is the example. Now he has grouped the firms, right? ABC is one grouping, right? Strategic group. This is another 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 strategic group. Now, if they want to see the performance, for that they have taken two parameters. One is the range of products. Another one is the reputation amongst the consumers, right? That what is the reputation? This is the x-axis that they have taken, right? And on the y-axis, they have taken the reputation of the firm amongst the consumers, that what is the reputation that they are enjoying, right? Now, if you see here, the ABC is having a very small market share, Why? The reason for the small market share is the number of products being provided is very less, right? They are not providing a wide range of product, but the reputation is very good. Right? Another thing, now DEF is doing a little better, having a higher market share. Reputation is on the lower side, but they are providing more products. PQR, now if you look at PQR, this PQR is having the largest market share. Why? The reason being they are providing too many variety of products, but the reputation is okay, right? Reputation is not that too good. Now, if you look at GHI, this is the best firm. Why? GHI is providing a good range of products and they are enjoying a good reputation in the market. So this is brilliant. Now you will say that, sir, XYZ and GHI, these are on the same line. But the problem here is XYZ is having a lower market share, why they are having the lowest market share? Because their reputation is not too good with the consumers. They might not be providing that quality of the product which the consumers are asking for, right? So in that case, GHI is performing excellent. XYZ is also providing a similar range of products to GHI, but they are being defeated by GHI on the basis of the reputation. Clear? This is how the strategic group mapping is done, and that is how the firms are able to understand what is their standing according to the industry and the market, right? So this is the explanation. Just go through with the explanation once. That's it. Just read the explanation once. Whatever we have discussed, the explanation is based on that, right? I hope this is a very important topic, strategic group mapping, that how the grouping is being done, right? How we can differentiate between the firms, how they can be divided into the separate groups. What are the parameters? You all have to remember this, right? You should understand it, and how we have to create the circles for the firm. This is one firm AB, this is another firm CD. These circles are made on the basis of the market share that is enjoyed by the firms. Clear? Okay. So this is the first strategic driver that we have discussed, that is industry and market. Now moving on to the next driver, that is customer. Very simple, we have already discussed about it. Customer is the king for any of the business, isn't it? The customer is the most important person for any business. That we have already discussed about it, right? That we have already discussed about it, sir. Now he says understanding the customer. Understanding the different type of customers to whom the organization's product or services are sold or provided is not only important, but also the first step in deciding the product or the service. Obviously, what your customers require, you have to manufacture the product or you have to provide the service according to that. If your customer requires a shoe and you are going to provide him with a pen, no, we are going to sell you a pen. He says, no, I want a shoe. Is he going to wear the pen? No, na. right? So understanding what type of customer is, what is the need of the customer, what is the demand of a customer, that is the most important thing for any business, and accordingly the product should be manufactured. If you are going to manufacture a product for which there is no demand, then obviously you are going to be into the losses. So different customers may have the different needs and require the different sales models or the distribution channel. So you need to understand also that the market or the customer that you are targeting, whether that customer is buying more online, and if you are going to sell that to the offline, right? If you say that I will sell the product offline only, but the type of customer that you are targeting, that customer do the most of the purchases online, then will your product get recognized? Obviously no. Right? Consider the example of a headphones brand. The customers can be grouped under the high value buyers, medium value buyers, and the low value buyers based on the amount they are willing to spend on a product. So that particular brand will have to manufacture the headphones that is catering to all the categories. For example, boat, right? Mr. Aman Gupta, they are manufacturing the products which is catering to the different categories. A smartwatch is there which is costing 1500 also, and there is a smartwatch which is costing in maybe 6, 7, 10,000 also. So they are catering to every kind of a customer. They have understood what the customer requires, and accordingly they have made their internal processes so efficient, right, in such a way that they are able to cater to the different needs of the customers based on the amount that they are willing to spend, thus helping the business understand their key customers and focus areas of improvement. As customers are often responsible for the generation of profits obtained by an organization, this is a very general statement. It is important to be able to collect and display data in order to show the customer trends and profitability. So you should be able to collect that how the customer is impacting the business, and you should be able to display that data to the key stakeholders, right? That how the customers are being served, what are the customer reviews, and what is the impact of that on the profitability. Issues with customers can be identified and target areas for growth can be pursued based on the findings. That if there are any difficulties that the customers are finding it with your product, with your service, those areas should be identified, and accordingly the actions should be taken to correct those areas, right? Difference between customer and consumer, we have already discussed it in the last chapter, that I'm not going to take it up again. Last line, read the last line, that from a pricing perspective, the customer is more important, right? So if you if you want to assess the performance of a business from the pricing perspective, then customer is more important, because who is buying the product? The customer is buying the product, right? But if you want to assess the performance of your business on the basis of value creation, that what value your product or services are making to the life of the consumer, then instead of customer, the consumer becomes more important, right? Value creation and design and durability, in that case the consumer needs to be kept at the center of decision making. So it depends upon the business to business, that how they want to assess the performance. If they want to assess on the basis of the pricing perspective, then customer is important. If they want to assess it on the basis of value creation or the design or usability, then consumer is more important. Now customer and consumer can be same, can be different. We have already discussed about that in the last lecture, right? In the last chapter, sorry. Right, so that is all about the customer. So here we are done with the second parameter also. We have covered two strategic drivers, right? We have covered this industry and market, we have covered customer. In the next lecture, we will take up product and services, then we will move on to the channel, right? So in the next lecture, we will be discussing about product and services, that how these are to be analyzed and how they can impact the things, right? What are the various marketing channels are there? So all this thing we will be able to understand. Then we will move on to the channels, and then rest of the things we will continue, right? Please revise whatever we have done so far. Next video will be on product and services, right? See you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy, keep studying, keep sharing. Thank you so much.